Hey, what's up guys? We're going to be doing a deck profile for Elemental Heroes, the XYZ variant that I've been playing for the past week, and you guys really liked it, and so we're going to be doing a deck profile on it, and if there's anything you don't like to run, like you see a card you don't like in the main deck, you can check out some of the cards I placed in the side deck. The side deck is a whole bunch of card choices that you could decide to main deck if you don't like some of the cards in the main deck. So that said, let's finally get started with the deck profile. So first off, we got 3 Alias. He's just like your only light target basically, and he's just something that you use when you want to go for Shining, and he is a 1900 attacker because Thunder King can put a thorn in your side, but once you have Alias, you can just attack over it. As long as you have the Alias, because remember, when Thunder King's on the field, you cannot activate your E-Calls, Rhoda, or Photon Duality, so you kind of need to as fast as possible. And also Thrasher deals with Thunder King, but Thunder King hasn't been too popular to main deck at the moment. But yeah, we're running 3 Alias, pretty just overall solid card. As well as Gemini Spark. I really feel like Gemini Spark makes the hero deck so much better because Gemini Spark usually is a +1. Plus, it allows you to not run MST because in this deck, you don't really worry about some of the stuff that gets destroyed. I mean, if they have stuff on the field, you just go Ab-Zero if they want to do anything to Ab-Zero. Other than, you know, Solemn Warning or Miracle Fusion. Then even if they bottomless Ab-Zero, at least you still get an effect. And same thing with the Shining if they Torrential, or they, like, you know, Mirror Force or get around it next turn, essentially. You still get your plus off of it, and that's why I don't feel like you don't need to run MST, but again, it's in the side deck area, so if you decide you want to main deck it, by all means, side deck, or main deck the MST. Next up, we're playing 2 Ocean, because 2 Ocean is really good, because sometimes I want to get Ocean to my hand as fast as possible, and I have like all the E-Calls and Rhoda, but those are meant basically for Stratos majority of the time, to open up with Stratos. And also sometimes I end up removing one of the Oceans because I want to make a Ab-Zero. But I really like 2. I think 2 is really good. And the combo with Ocean, and the reason why I run him, is Call of the Haunted. Call of the Haunted basically only brings back Ocean. That's the only good card that you can really plus off of it dramatically. You can plus one off of Stratos too, but the play usually is once Stratos is in the grave and also Ocean is in the grave, you just set Call of the Haunted, and you get back Ocean during your opponent's end phase. And then during your standby phase, you get Ocean's Effect, which is you can add 1 hero monster. So if you have maybe a dead Gemini Spark, you can add back an Alias. The majority of the time, you will add back Stratos. And then you can summon Stratos. You can either pop one or add an Alias or add whatever you want to your hand. And then go for an Exceed. So it's a 1 card to go for, you know, a 4,000 attacker, like this guy over here, or, you know, Blade Armor Ninja, or the Photon Butterfly. So it allows you to go for options with just 1 card and get a really good advantage, and it really allows heroes to you know, get that pluses in that they need. So yeah, Ocean's a really good card, and that's why I'm playing triple Call of the Haunted. I might actually bump it down to 2, but I feel like you can get off the play really easy, because you can just duality, add Ocean, set Ocean, let Ocean die, no problem. You just end phase Call of the Haunted and at your advantage next turn off of it. But the deck does special summon to, you know, kind of be successful. You need to special summon that turn, I'd say, in order to deal any damage. You're probably going to need to special summon majority of the time. So keep that in mind that if you open up with Ocean and you want a duality, and don't worry, you can, if you have Call of the Haunted, you can just set the Ocean, set Call of the Haunted. And then always use Call of the Haunted to get back Stratos. If they Space Typhoon your Call of the Haunted, you could just chain, add back Stratos, and then, you know, add Stratos' effect to add, and you can just get the advantage off of that. Next up, we're playing 2 Photon Thrasher. Now, Photon Thrasher as well as Bellman, those are what allowed you to exceed quite fast in the deck. And I personally, I like Thrasher over Bellman because this deals with Thunder King. And also, it's just 2100 attack, pretty good. But keep in mind, he does have that effect of if you control another monster, this card can't attack. So just keep that in mind. I forgot a few times on that. But he's pretty good, I'd say, just because, you know, the 2100 attack. Plus, what's good about him is it's not like Cyber Dragon. It's just you can just special summon it when you have no monsters. So if your opponent has no monsters, it's fine. You can still special summon it. So in that sense, he's a little bit better than Cyber Dragon. Next, I'm playing Book of Moon, Dark Hole, Triple E-Call, and then I'm playing 1 Lance. Originally, I was playing 2 Lance, but I felt like, you know, 2 Lance maybe was too much. Just because everyone always ended up bottomlessing my Shining, and that kind of hurt a lot, so I started to main deck 1 Forbidden. Well, originally I was playing 2 Forbidden Lance, but I didn't really like 2. It just kind of got cloggy sometimes, because either you didn't have a monster to use it on, or it just didn't work out. Next up, Future Fusion, really good. It allows you to go and send Ocean and Stratos to the graveyard first, and then set Call of the Haunted, then you get your play right there off the bat, and it's just really good. And, you know, just sending any E-heroes to the graveyard that you need, and you can just go Miracle Fusion. It's just also a great option. 3 Gemini Spark because I do not play Space Typhoon in my personal main deck, but you can do it if you would like to. And I feel like this card's just really good. It's a really good trainable, and it's, you know, pretty much always live, because you'll always have your Alias sitting there. Because majority of the time, I don't summon Alias. What I usually end up doing with Alias is I just kind of have in my hand, literally I just save him for the Gemini Spark, because if there's a skill drain that comes out, like especially against if I'm playing against Dark World skill drain and Grapha, like it just hurts a lot. Like this deck has very limited options to get around that. That's why there's also that one deprison. But basically, yeah, I really don't like dealing with skill drain, so I usually save Alias and the Gemini Spark. I usually don't summon him too early on. Majority of the time, I just go for the Ocean play, like I mentioned before. Like Stratos, he's 1800, so he dies relatively quick, and then you just go for the Ocean play. And then once that goes away, you have another Call of the Haunted, and you just kind of cycle your play again, and it's just really good. And next up, we're playing Heavy Storm, pretty common to play in any deck, and then Triple Miracle Fusion. I feel like 3 Miracle Fusion is pretty good, just because, I mean, you do run through Duality also, but, you know, Miracle Fusion, it's a pretty good card as well. And it really allows you to overextend. Like, you can overextend this deck and not really get punished too bad by it, because all your cards that you overextend with do technically have other effects, like the Ab-Zero, you know, blowing your opponent's field, and the Shining adding Stratos usually back, and, you know, your Neos Alias. So it's just, they can kind of overextend and not get punished too bad by it, and that's why I think that Miracle Fusion is just really good at 3. Next up, Reborn. Generally, you want to Reborn Stratos, and it opens up a lot of plays. And one really common play with the Bubble Man is to, if Stratos plus like if Stratos is the only monster in your hand and you have like Reborn, you can do a pretty nasty play. Let me explain it to you. So you go Stratos, you summon Stratos, add Bubble Man, and then you go for Excalibur here, which is a 4,000 attacker. And then what you do is you detach both the materials, so both the materials go to the graveyard. You special summon Stratos by using Monster Reborn. You add another Bubble Man, and then you go for another Excalibur, and that's 8,000 damage right off the bat. But keep in mind, you'll have to set everything to do that, and that's personally why I don't like playing Bubble Man. But if you are wanting to play Bubble Man, you can definitely OTK quite easy in that deck. Next up, I think we would put that right there, because that's basically like the same thing. But this card allows you to add Thrasher. I think we were at Duality. Duality's pretty good. I mean, again, when you don't have any plays, your play will basically be set Ocean, set Call of the Haunted, and then wait for your turn to be able to net that advantage next turn. Then we're playing 1 Super Poly in the main deck. I do really like 1. It allows you to push for game, because if you have like a Shining and Absolute Zero out on the field, and you attack them with both of you attack with like 0, they don't drop Gores. You attack with Shining, they don't drop Gores. And then you just go, oh, let me just Super Poly. And then you Super Poly with Ab-Zero plus like their, you know, their Gores. And then you can make this guy. And then since this leaves the field, it blows up everything. And then you can just attack for game. And also Super Poly is just pretty good, just because, you know, it gets rid of Logia. And Dino Rabbit is still kind of a popular deck to play in Dueling Network. And next up, we're playing 2 Bottomless, pretty good against Dark Worlds. I really feel like this deck has a kind of a hard matchup against Dark Worlds when they have Skill Drain out, and it also has kind of a hard time dealing with Chaos Dragons, because as you guys know, Chaos Dragons is just a really fast deck, and I don't think that this deck has the speed necessarily early on. Like, this deck takes a few turns to kind of set up. You know, you need to get your heroes in the graveyard so your miracles are alive. But against Chaos Dragons, like, they can just go Solar Recharge, Charge Level Brigade, and they just, like, have their entire graveyard, and they're, like, ready to go with their 2,800 attack, and you're like, whoa! I only have a Miracle Fusion, I can't activate it yet, can you slow down? But next up, we're playing 3 Call of the Haunted, just because, again, it's just that play with the Ocean. You could drop it down to 2, if you just want to try it out with 2. I think 2 is very viable. I just really like 3 because you can go through your E-calls really fast to get your Ocean, and you can get your monsters that you need in the grave by just letting them die. That sounds terrible. I just like to get my monsters. I just like to have my monsters die. Basically, that's what Ocean does, though. I mean, you rarely will summon Ocean and just have him attack. Like, majority of the time, you literally just set him to let him die, and then you get him back later. Next up, we're playing 1 Deprison, just because against the mirror match, I really like deprisoning other people in Shining, because that hurts them a lot. Because sometimes they'll go all in, they'll just be like, oh, let me just go for Shining as quickly as possible, and then they're like, if it dies, I'll just get back my stuff. And then if you deprison it, it hurts them a lot. And then playing Mirror Force, and then playing the Solemn Brigade. 1 Starlight Road, just because I feel like you can kind of push really hard in this deck and then set Starlight Road and basically get the game, because if it's a Dark Hole, you just get, you know, Stardust. And then I'm playing 1 Torrential Tribute. Originally, I was playing 2 Torrential Tribute, and and took one out for a deep prison because I feel like sometimes deep prison is just a pretty good card. So let me show you some of the cards that you can choose to run if you didn't like some of the cards. So we are gonna show off Effect Veiler. It's pretty standard. Bubble Man, but keep in mind you don't want to play Effect Veiler if you're gonna play the triple Bubble Man, because Bubble Man you have to have no cards in your hand. Yeah, and next up we have Ice Edge. This card's okay. I personally find Bubble Man a little bit better because he's level 4, and the thing with Ice Edge, he's level 3, and it doesn't allow you to exceed as much. But he has a pretty good effect because you can discard a card to have him attack directly, and when he inflicts battle damage, you can select one set card to your opponent in your opponent's spell and trap zone and destroy it. So it's pretty good. I wish you could destroy any. It has to be set though. It can't be face ups. And again, it's just Dark Worlds. I don't really like dealing with Dark World. It's kind of a difficult matchup, I'd say, when they have the skill right now. Next up, Honest. Honest is pretty good because it works with Shining, plus it works with all your 3 aliases, plus Thrasher. So Honest is an overall really solid card as well, but I just couldn't find the room for it. And I think he's a really good card. I probably should run it. I'll probably take out Call on later on and try it out. Next up, Maxi, pretty self-explanatory. If you're playing Maxi, make sure you also put in this card, because this card's okay sometimes, but generally I only used it with Super Poly. Next up, Forbidden Chalice and another Lance. You can try out that. I think Chalice is okay because some people are main decking Snowman Eaters because E-Heroes are a very popular deck, and this deals with the Snowman Eater. Next up, Space Typhoon and Super Poly. So you can, again, main deck the Space Typhoon if you feel like you need to. It's a pretty decent card, but against some decks like Chaos Dragons, which is really popular right now, it just really won't do anything. And then Super Poly, overall, pretty good card against a lot of stuff. It's just sometimes you just don't have the resources to discard, or you just don't have the monster on the field. Because you summon and they Solemn Warning, and then you have 2 Super Polys in your hand like a Miracle, and you're like, yeah, it can be kind of unfortunate. Then we have Compulse, Hero Blast. Hero Blast is really good, but again, just because Chaos Dragons are so popular right now, I don't feel like Hero Blast is that great in the main deck. Yes, it hits Insectors, yes, it hits Dino Rabbits, but things like Dark World and Chaos Dragons, which are also very popular decks, it doesn't really hit them at all. With Chaos Dragons, what you want to do with this, you want to hit Lila, though. I mean, pretty much that's going to be one of your only targets anyways, but there's also Raikou, but generally they're not going to have Raikou in, face-up attack position for you to be able to really use Hero Blast. And next up, there's Torrential Tribute. So if you want to run 2, or maybe more Deep Prison. Deep Prison is also another good card that you can main deck in here. Also, the Gemini Pearl is also good. I just didn't have room in the side deck. But he's really good just because he gets over stuff, like that 2600, and also they cannot Fiendish Chain him because he has no effect. So keep that in mind also. And then the Utopia plus Utopia Ray. I really felt like Utopia was a good card in here just because it was also light. But majority of the time when I wanted to stall, I went in for this card instead. Because most of the time they'll just remove, or they'll just Dark Hole me. And because usually I'll go for him once I have a good field, and they end up Dark Holing. And so this card was just better for that situation. That's just my personal choice. If you like Utopia better, by all means put in Utopia. So that said, let's finally get into the extra deck. So we're playing 2-0, so you can drop it down to 1, honestly, and I think it'd be okay. And then we're playing one of the Dark E-Heroes because you main deck 1 Super Poly. Then we're playing Gaia, because, again, main deck 1 Super Poly. Great Tornado, pretty good card as well, and I like to go with him with Future Fusion first turn, because setting your Ocean and Shots to the grave, then opening up your play is pretty good. And then 1 Nova Master, because, again, main deck Super Poly. Then 2 Shinings. I think you need at least 2 Shinings because it's just a really good card. And then I'm playing a Catastor just because of the Monster Reborn. I can reborn Effect Veiler, and all my stuff's level 4. And so that allows me to go into Catastor, and Catastor is really good against certain decks. Next up, Stardust, because Starlight Road, and we're playing 1 Blade Armor Ninja. To be honest, I feel like this card is kind of getting replaced by this, because majority of the time, I will end up just making this, because, sure, this is technically 400 more points of damage, but the thing is, this is 4,000, and your opponent can't, take it, because, I've lost before when someone enemy controller this, and then they detached and attacked me for 4,400, so, I'm not saying that they couldn't do that with this, but, I just feel like this card is just overall solid because it's better for, it has a defense, kind of, for, a turn, because it's 4,000, your opponent usually can't get over it. And I really think this card's good because it detaches both. Sometimes you want to detach, both materials, so you can just go Miracle Fusion and go for game. Because if you have enough E-Heroes removed with Shining, if you just go and make a Excalibur and then you just go Miracle Fusion for this, that's game right there. And pretty devastating. Plus, you know, already this is, majority of the time your training is going to be at 3200 attack because you'll have 2 removed. So 3200 plus 4000, that's a pretty good amount of damage. That's like almost game right there. But yeah, and we're playing 2 Excaliburs just because he's really good. And again, you could probably take out Blade Armor because majority of the time you'll make this anyways. Then we have one Symphony to Jin. I really like this card. This is like, I replaced Utopia with this just because I feel like it's just really good and it gets over a lot of stuff. Like, E-Heroes can have a problem against Catastor, so you can just use this card against Catastor because Catastor only has 1200 defense, and this card has a Book of Moon effect by detaching. And lastly, we're playing the Butterfly because Spirit Reaper, and I don't like to use Gemini Spark on Spirit Reaper because I like to save it for better things to hit, and on top of that, it's pretty good. So if Spirit Reaper is face down also, you can use this and then get some damage in pretty easy with it. So that's been the XYZ Elemental Hero deck profile that a lot of you guys requested, and I think it's a very good deck. So best of luck with you guys running it. Again, if you there's any cards that you don't like, consider some of the cards in my side deck, or let me know in the comment section down below if you feel like there's good cards that I did not mention that should be in the main deck, or perhaps other choices for other people. Let me know in the comment section below. But thanks for watching, guys. Asian Eyes White Dragon, signing out.